All right, let's do some math. Today we are going to take a look at taxes and commission. So we're talking about sales tax in particular. So we have actually two sales taxes here. We have a 5% goods and service tax called GST, which goes to the federal government. We also have a 7% provincial sales tax that goes to the provincial government. So anytime we buy most goods, we have to pay a 5% tax and a 7% tax. So let's take a look at a couple of examples of how this works. Alrighty, to an example. A hoodie sells for $25. What is the total price after 5% GST and 7% PST? So part of the reason why I'm specifying the percentage here is because in different provinces, they have a different PST value. Alrighty, this hoodie sells for $25, but when you go up to the counter and pay, you actually have to pay a little bit more because they tack on those taxes. Now, we can do this a couple of ways. We can calculate 5% of the $25 and then calculate 7% of the $25 and then add that together, and that's how much tax we have to pay. But there's a faster way of doing this. One of the shortcuts we can take is we can take this 5% tax and add it to our 7% tax, because we're going to calculate these percentages off the same number. It's going to be 5% of 25 and 7% of 25. So we can actually just add these together and take 12% of 25 instead. Now let's take a look at how much tax we had to pay. Let's find out what 12% of $25 is. Remember that 12% in decimal form is 0.12. Of means multiply. And we're going to multiply it by 25. You punch that into your calculator and you will get $3. That's how much tax you had to pay. Now the question didn't ask for how much tax you had to pay, it asked for what was the total price after the taxes were tacked on. So don't forget that you have to take the $25, add your tax to it, and now you have your final total price of $28. So this is one way that you can calculate this. I'm going to show you an even faster way, because this question never asked for how much tax. I don't actually need this step right here. There's a faster way I can do this. If I want to find out what the price is after taxes have been included in there, I want to include the original price, $25. I want to include 100% of that. I then want to tack on an extra 12% onto that. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my 100%, which is the original price, I'm adding the 12% tax to it, which means I'm looking for 112% of this $25. So let's do that calculation. 112% of 25. This is, in decimal form, 1.12. Of means multiply. $25. 1.12 times 25 gets you $28. There you go. Nice and easy. Real simple. All right. Let's move on. I'm going to make a quick little note here that if an item is on sale, first calculate the sale price, then calculate the taxes based on the new sale price. So I'm not going to go into an example of this, but we've had issues in the past where students would take a look at an item and see that, oh, it's 20% off. And they would calculate the taxes first, and then they would take the discount off. That's not how you do it. You calculate the sale price first. Figure out what the price is after the discount. Then with that new price, that's the number that you use to calculate your taxes on. Okay? I'm not going to do an example of this. I'm just going to give you the heads up now. We are going to move on now. We're going to talk about commission. So some of you may have heard of commission, some of you may have not. I'll give you a brief little description here that some employees are paid based on how much they sell. So in some jobs, you get paid for every hour that you work. In some jobs, they reward you based on your performance. So the more you sell, the more you get paid. And they typically pay you with a percentage of whatever you sold. So let's see what this looks like in an example. We have Brad here. Brad sells TVs. He earns a 2% commission on everything he sells. Today, he sold a 60-inch TV for $2,050. He sold a home theater system for $3,500. And he also sold some cables and power bars totaling $350. How much money did Brad make that day? How much money did Brad make that day? All right, this is how we could approach this. He earns 2% on everything he sells. Well, he sold a TV, so we could find out 2% of the $2,050. Then find out what 2% of the $3,500 is. Then take 2% of the $350 and then add all that up. We could do it that way, but that's a lot of steps, and there's a faster way you can do this. Rather than taking 2% of each of those things and then adding them up, what we can do is we can add these things up first and then just take 2% of the sum. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the $2,050. We're going to add the $3,500, and we're going to add the $350. And all this comes out to $5,900. So that's the total of everything that he sold. Well, how does Brad make money? He earns 2% of what he sold. In this case, $5,900. 2% of 5,900 means 0.02. Of means times 5,900. You multiply this out, you get $118. And that's how much money Brad made. Good job, Brad. So that's how commission is calculated. You take what they sold and you calculate a percentage of it, and that's what they get on their paycheck. All right, that's enough for me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.